Mora, Kabe tuja habe. Vishaya Jariya Kabe, Shura habe Mara, Kabe Mama Shivan Mora
Hare Krishna. Very nice to be here with you all this evening. Wondering what to speak on? And I was given a couple of things. One of them was about Kartik, keeping the fire burning. And the other one's at the end talk about book distribution. So I was just in Vrindavan about 6 days ago. I try to go every year for Kartik. Maybe many of this community are also in India right now for Kartik, and maybe some of you have been, I don't know. But I try to go every year. Most years I've been with Parashram on his bullock cart, traveling from village to village and distributing books and prasadam to all the village children and begging madhukari at night time door to door. Radhe Shyam, Doodh hai, roti hai. And the Vrishbas is always very, very kind. Always give us a couple of rotis each house, a little bit of milk, we have our tiffins. And they fill us up. We collect from a few different houses, then we go back to the bullock cart and sit on there in candlelight. We have our prasadam in the evening in the village. And it's so nice to be away from the busy hustle and bustle. Isn't Vrindavan just too busy these days? I mean, it's just crazy. It's so busy. Every year it gets busier. So it's nice to get out on the bullock cart and just go out to the 12 forests, Madhavan, Kamyavan, all different beautiful kunds and forests and the villagers, the Vrishbasis themselves. Special because you can just pull up in your bullock cart and just, the sun's going down and say, excuse me, can we just park up here on your front drive? So what would happen if somebody asked you that in this country? Do one, mate. Get the hell out of here. You can't even do a 3-point turn on my drive. What to speak of parking? What to speak of staying overnight? Impossible. But there it's completely different. They welcome you in, very happy to see you. In fact, they feel greatly privileged that some visitors have come, some sadhus have arrived, and they're more than happy to allow you. They'll feed your bulls, they'll provide you some milk, or even sometimes they cook full prasadam, and they're very, very happy, and they just want to know about you, what you do, what it's like back in London, and so on and so forth. Sometimes the same family every year, and make sure that we come to visit them, and it's a special place, Vrindavan Dham. And it's a meditation. It's not just a geographical location. It's a condition of the heart, a place where the heart can soften. Due to materialistic life, due to consumeristic civilization, dog-eat-dog world, or the rat race, which is a nice terminology you like to use. Sometimes the heart can become a little hard, a bit rough, because in this competitive world, what does competition mean? You have to defeat your rivals, defeat your enemies. So a society based upon envy, on rivalry, on competition, and competition breeds success. There is undoubtedly some success through competition. Not all competition is bad, but when it means trampling on the heads of others to get to the top, because to make an omelette you have to break a few eggs. Of course, we're all vegetarians here, right, guys? No fish fingers in the freezer around. So, yeah, there are many who ascribe to that life. That kind of paradigm of existence is considered the best form of life for a human being on this planet by many. After all, when we look at other civilizations in comparison to the West, well, they're poorer than us, right? They don't have the technology that we have, which is the main metric of measurement of a successful civilization, how much technology they have. what weapons do they have? So well, they're not doing so well as us, so they're less advanced. But there was a time when civilization's advancement was measured by a different metric, not just technology or wealth, but on the spiritual consciousness of the individual citizens, the happiness of the people, the purity of the atmosphere, the abundance of natural resources, not artificially excavated exploitation of the environment, but living in harmony with the universe as a whole, which is actually what Dharma means. In the orchestra of the universe, we all have a role to play, like we do if you're a part of an orchestra in a symphonic harmony. Then if you play your instrument perfectly well, then everybody's very pleased with you. If you play your violin or your flute very nicely, exactly according to how it's supposed to be played, then the conductor is very pleased with you, the audience is very pleased with you, and your other friends who are playing their own instruments as well as they can are very pleased with you. But if you're playing out of sync or out of tune, then people, they start to, a little bit, and then eventually you may be asked, okay, maybe you should join a different symphony orchestra. And so on and so forth. And really that's what happens if we don't follow our Dharma nicely. If we follow Dharma nicely, then we can come into higher association. And the purer the Dharma, the purer the association. So we have our Swadharma in this world, our material duties, our obligations, whether it's our career or our family, or whatever it may be. But then we have also our Sanatana Dharma, our eternal duty to Krishna, to the Lord. And if we perform those duties very nicely, then we become very happy in this world. And everybody is very pleased with us. And we become qualified for higher and higher association. And that's really what the mood of Vrindavan is. It's the highest possible association one can obtain. So in the Nectar of Instruction, it talks about this principle of how we can come closer to the heart of Vrindavan. Oh, by the way, I just remembered I didn't chant the mantras, did I? Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shilakaya
Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Shaktikam Vanchakalpadurupasya Kripa Sindhu Devasya Patitanam Bhavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Ananda Chilmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Stadi Eva Rupaya Kalavi Goloke Eva Nivisachi Kelatma Bhuta Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Vachami. The spiritual world, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. We're all looking for Ananda, happiness, bliss. And so we've dedicated our entire civilization to the achievement of happiness. But we're looking for happiness in the wrong place. We're looking for happiness in a place where happiness doesn't exist. I was talking about this morning. Dukalaya Mashashvitam. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Puna Avartinojana. Mamu Pecha to Konteya. And this idea that from Brahma Loka down, it's only suffering. Birth, death, old age, and disease. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So we're looking for happiness in the shadow, in the reflection of reality. Real happiness is to be found in Goloka, where Radha and Krishna are performing their unlimited pastimes with their confidants and eternal associates. So that mood of Vrindavan has to be are searched for by the sincere seeker. Vaikuntha Janito Varamuripuri Tatrapi Rasotsavad Vrindaranyamudari Ramanat Tatrapi Govadhana Radha Kundan Vihapi Gokulapite Premamurita Plavanat Kuriyadascha Vivajito Giritite Sevam Vivekinaka. The aim is to become a servant of, first of all you have Vaikuntha, the Vaikuntha realms. So one in transcendental consciousness, at the time of death, if we remember Krishna, Antikali Chimameva Smaramukva Kalevaram Yapraiti Samad Bhavam Yatiyast Natara Samshaya. If we remember him, if we're able to do that, because when your life flashes before your eyes at the moment of death, whatever you absorb yourself in this life will come before you at the moment of death. So if we've given our lives to serving our dogs, picking up the poo in a plastic bag, nice and warm in the pocket, carrying it around. If we love our dogs, it's quite likely at the end of life we'll remember our dog, or our cat, or our goldfish. Or we may have so much affection for our beloved families also, which is very important. Oh, how will my children survive without me? Of course, they're already 45 and grown up. How will they live without me? So that may flash before our minds. They said that in the airplanes, like that Air India flight that went down when they uncovered the black box. So all the different black boxes from all the different airplanes, usually the last thing the pilot cries out is?
Mayday.
What's that?
Mayday.
Mayday? No, it's Mama. Mama. They think of their mums, because for them it's a great shelter. Because you have to take shelter of something. When the you-know-what hits the fan, then you're going to think of something. It's going to be a shelter. Isn't it interesting, even atheists, when it really, goes up, a creek, it's like, what do they cry out? Oh my God! Even atheists. Oh my God! It's inherent. So that's good, because we chant Krishna's name in difficult times. So if we remember Krishna at the time of death, we may go to, like Srila Prabhupada says, we may appear on the planet or in the universe, on the planet where Krishna is performing his pastimes, so we can get further training by the residents of Vrindavan there. If we remember Krishna, that is, or we may remember any other incarnation of the Lord. So we may have to go to a universe where those pastimes are taking place, so we can get a bit closer to that eternal association. But Vaikuntha Janito Varamuripuri Tatrapi Asotsavat. Well, better than Vaikuntha is the realm of Vrindavan, because in Vrindavan, the beautiful pastimes are taking place with Krishna. Vrindaranyam udari kalpi ramanat tatrapi govardhana. Better than Vrindavan is Govardhan, because Govardhan was lifted by the hand of Krishna. And the Krishna lifted Govardhan hill so that all the residents of Vrindavan were protected from the rainstorm and the thunder, the lightning strikes. And apparently when everybody went under the hill, it wasn't just like some moldy old, as you would imagine the bottom of a hill when you lift it up, some roots hanging down and very moldy and wet and damp. No, apparently all facility was there. As everything was there, drinking water, prasadam, everything was needed was there. Everybody felt very safe. And Krishna was available 24/7, the original 24/7. 24 hours for 7 days. Better than Govardhan. Radha Kunda, be happy. So Radha Kund is better than Govardhan Hill, because that's the place which is the most dear to Krishna, because the story of Radha Kund, many of you know that story, but when Arista saw the bull demon was attacking, and Krishna killed the bull. Because killing cows and bulls is considered unacceptable in Vedic culture. It's an amazing thing about India. You don't see it anywhere else, where cows are just allowed to wander around in the streets. I was on the way to the airport in Delhi, and there's a flyover that takes you to the airport. And it doesn't go anywhere else except the airport, this flyover, Indira Gandhi Airport. And there was a big traffic jam, so we're, waiting, and then finally you get to the source of the traffic jam, you go around, and then everything's okay again. But it was about 6 cows, all walking, very determined, plodding away with their heads down, going to the airport. Where are you guys going? You got passports, visas? Maybe there's some grass there, I don't know, because they have those bits in the middle of the road which are probably nice grass there. It's confusing, but nobody complained. Everybody respectfully went around the cows, and only in India. It's impossible. Krishna loves the cows, and so Govardhan Hill is associated with the cows very much. The beautiful grass that grows there, and special herbs which brings a lot of flavor to Krishna's, the milk for Krishna. But Radha Kund, when Krishna killed the bull, and then the gopi said, "You can't come near us, don't touch us, you are contaminated, because you killed the bull." So he made a kund for himself from digging a hole with his heel in the ground, and called all the sacred rivers to come and fill his kund. Then he took a bath and came out, and he was purified. And the gopis said, "Well, you have your kund, Krishna, we're going to make our own one. We're not going to bathe in your kund, thank you very much." When Krishna offered, "No, we'll dig our own kund." So they started digging using their bangles. And then once the kund had been built, they needed to get water to come into the kund. And Krishna says, "Well, you can take some water from mine." "No way, I'm not going to take water from your kund." So they started transporting, using many different pots, water from Manasi Ganga. That was a very long way. Many millions of pots had to be used. But eventually Krishna convinced all the rivers, all the sacred rivers, to come and beg Radharani, bow down to her feet. "Please, please, we beg you, allow us to enter into your sacred kund." And Radharani very happily agreed, and then all the rivers entered Radha Kund, and that's the kund that we have today, which was nicely refurbished by Raghunath Das Goswami. Before that, Radha Kund was very small, but he made it Radha Kund much larger, what we see today, and also Shama Kund in that very unusual shape that it's in, because the 5 Pandavas were standing on the banks of Shama Kund originally in the form of trees, and so therefore Shama Kund was made in such a shape that the trees were not harmed. But those trees have since departed. In fact, the last one departed only recently, about 10 years ago. The Pandavas were standing there. So we were there recently at Radha Kund, and for Srila Prabhupada, we know that the early disciples were all bathing in Radha Kund very nicely, but then some of them were playing around and splashing, and so Prabhupada said, "Okay, you're not allowed to bathe there anymore," because they were not respecting Radha Kund. But we can understand that if we are respectful, then it's okay to bathe there, and so we bathed nicely in Radha Kund. And also Mathura Kripa, who's our Sankirtan leader, he was able to render a little service, because in a mood of service, actually, you're quite well protected in Vrindavan. In fact, if you go to Vrindavan just for sightseeing, it's risky. You can make offenses. But if you go in the mood of service, you're actually much safer position. So the night before, because it was a Bahulashtami, and so Bahulashtami, everybody goes to bathe. I mean, it's just so busy. But also lots of ladies go there and throw pumpkins into, or squashes into Radha Kund. And the idea, they put a rupee in there and they throw the squash into Radha Kund, and the idea is that the Supreme Mother will give you a child. You'll have a nice baby. That's one of the traditions there. And so there was just loads of them being thrown. so many people bathing there, putting candles in, anything in, clothes, people lost their clothes in there or their gumshoes. And so then the kund is cleaned the next day. And so when we got there, it was already quite clean, but there was still some remnants lying around. So Mathura Kripa was able to do some cleaning of Radhakund and also deliver one of the squashes to one of the servants of Radhakund, because some ladies were going around cleaning, and he gave her the squash. She tied it up in her cloth and was very happy with the squash. So some service was done, and that's very good. Let's move the service of Radhakund. So the residents of Vrindavan are also on the highest level of spiritual perfection. Nectar of Instruction describes Kamebhya parito hare priyataya vyaktinya yogyaninas tevyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama premeknishtastata devyastha pashupala pankajachishas tevyo pisaradika preshta tatvariyam tadiya sarasitam nashayat kakriti. Kamebhya, first of all you have the karmis, or the religious workers, pious workers. That's better than most human beings. Better than them, however, is those who have performed their duties with knowledge. Like in Bhagavad Gita, you have the chapter 3, Kama Yoga, and then Jnana Yoga, right? So better than Kama is Jnana, but then the next chapter, chapter 5, is Kama Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness, the combination of knowledge and your activities. So you're performing your Nishkam Kama Yoga, but you're doing it with full knowledge. So that's better, those in knowledge. But better than those in knowledge are those who have realization enough to become a devotee, a bhakta. That's better. Better than your average bhakta, well, that's the gopis of Vrindavan. Better than those is Srimati Radharani herself. So therefore we always aspire to serve Srimati Radharani. Gopi Pada Kamalayo Dasa Dasa Das. This is Lord Chaitanya's mood, is I'm just the servant of the servant of the servant. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhi Vrindavana Rishabhanu Sudhi. We say these prayers. So Radha Damodar, during Kartik month, worshipable, and we worship Yashoda Damodar. And during this sacred Damodar month, there are many benefits one can accrue, that your devotional service can be multiplied, particularly when performed in the town, but not always. It's always necessary, you can perform it anywhere. But also some like to take vows or to increase the level of their devotional service in some way or another during Kartik. And I guess what is meant by keeping the fire of Kartik burning is, well, are we going to carry these vows and this level of sadhana over to the rest of the year? Or is the last day of Kartik, that's the last day I'm going to do my extra reading and my attentive rounds, and I'm just going to go back to normal. So, of course, we should feel that the vows we make during Kartik, we can maintain for the whole year. So maybe some of you have made vows. I don't know. I tried to make one or two. So I'm now waking up at 2:30 in the morning and reading for 1 hour before Mangalarati, because Shivram Maharaj recommended that if I want to survive as temple president, you have to do this. So he knows what it's like in London. It's just crazy. And once the day gets started, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. So you have to get all your sadhana done before Mangalarati. So you wake up early. And I've been doing that, and it's amazing. Actually, it's changed my life. I'm so grateful to Maharaj. I need to write him and thank him for that instruction. I also have taken that on. And the other one is that just to make myself more available in the temple, because I'm actually a bit of a recluse in certain ways. I'm introverted. You may think, what are you talking about? You're sitting there giving a class. Yeah, but this is after years of practice. I'm actually quite shy. So usually after the morning program, I just like to run away to my room and start reading or answering my messages, mails, whatever other service. But one of my realizations while I was in Vrindavan is it's also part of my service just to be available for devotees. Because whether I accept it or not, how ridiculous I think it is, but devotees like to speak to me, and so that's another promise I've made to myself, to make myself more available. So maybe some of you have some other vows that you've taken, and that's very good. It's a great source of trepidation for some, the idea of taking a vow. It builds character, it builds determination. It gives one strength, because a spiritual life is more than just a lifelong endeavor. Of course, we should be willing at least to sacrifice one life for Krishna. But actually, spiritual life is eternal. And so that level of determination has to be cultivated over time. And making vows is a good way of doing that. Another thing is reciting a chapter of Bhagavad Gita a day. Do you guys do that? Yeah? Recite a chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What chapter are you on?
Just when I'm having a day where I'm trying to keep up with things and I'm behind on it, I go for 12 to 15 is the shortest. But I'm on chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Sometimes I try and read the same chapter for a few days.
Yeah, so that's what me and Matura Kripa do. We read the same chapter every day for about 2 months, and then you can memorize the whole chapter. Unfortunately, because I didn't practice them, I actually forgot chapter 8, 9, 10, and 12. But the thing is, you can always remember them again quickly, even if you've forgotten them.
No message in Sanskrit, I'm not doing Sanskrit, in English.
Oh, you're just doing English. Well, that's still really good. It's really good. It's amazing. I'm so glad you're doing that. Thank you. It's so important to... We're very forgetful creatures. I can't even remember what I was doing last night. But if we remind ourselves through constant reading, it goes in, it sinks into our hearts, it changes us. So that's very nice. And book distribution. So we're coming towards the end of time now. I'm sorry, this has been a bit of a all over the place class. So book distribution, it's really amazing, and it's fun and easy. Did you know that? Yeah. You still need to invite us to come down. We have some really good book distributors here actually with me today. See this guy? This is Joseph. Extremely talented book distributor. And we're actually, do you know we're giving you saffron on Wednesday? He's taking saffron on Wednesday. Everyone please bless him. He gave his first talk at Studio 108. When was it? Friday?
Yes.
On Friday, he gave his first Studio 108 talk. And we have Gaur Hari, who's from Houston, Texas, with us. He's also a very good book distributor. And we have many other book distribution devotees. And so we'd like to come and help, but you have to invite us. This is very important. This is our family business. This is what Srila Prabhupada foresaw. Actually, he predicted that the whole movement could be grown just on book distribution. That was his idea. But it's not just because he was a genius businessman, but he was also a pure Vaishnava. He understood that book distribution had manifold advantages. Obviously there's the financial benefit of reclaiming Lakshmi from the materialists, but more than that, it's our duty to, especially Yari Deke Taha Kare Krishna Upadesh Amara Ogyaya Guru Hoya Tara Eidesh. Any of us who are originating from the land of Bharat, we have a duty to live for the benefit of all other people, as hard as that may sound. But the best way to do that is to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, because it's knowledge that changes the hearts of the people. It's a revolution, an invisible revolution that's going on. These books go so far and wide, and whoever reads them, it makes a difference. And it's changing the world. People are thinking differently because of these books. And it's our duty to do it, but it's also the most important aspect of book distribution is that it's imbued with the mercy of the Acharyas, particularly the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And the happiness and the ecstatic enthusiasm that is experienced when book distribution is going on within a community is intoxicating, and it spreads, and everybody is so excited by it. Just the knowing that the books are going out and that we're doing what the Sankirtan movement was designed for, and that we're doing something very positive for this world. We're serving in the mood of the Gopis of Vrindavan, because that's what Sankirtan is. We're bringing people to Krishna. It generates a type of ecstatic enthusiasm, and it's very palpable, it's tangible, you can feel it, and that excitement spills out into all other things that we do, whether it's the kirtan or any other services, our prasadam, our interactions, our relationships, everything becomes so sweet and so amazing. So book distribution is very special, and so therefore great devotee giants in our movement like Vaisheshika Prabhu has given his whole life to not only personally distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, but promoting the importance of everybody else to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. We're very fortunate in ISKCON London. We've built up over many years a very exceptional group of young men and women who like to go on book distribution every day. What's the name of this young girl who stands up front?
Roshni.
Roshni. She's just amazing. And she's just a small young lady, and she's just there every day. She just loves distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. It's amazing, isn't it? And our brahmacharis are out there, full devotional dress. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can just dress in normal clothes. And it makes an impact. They're making themselves available for the general people. And people are really struggling these days. There's so many pressures upon them, so many expectations, there's so much stress and anxiety. It's a very stressed age to live in, actually. So we make ourselves available. So Prabhupada's purport, he said, are my personal ecstasies. Srila Prabhupada said, these are my ecstasies. So what could be a greater gift than giving Srila Prabhupada's personal ecstasies into the hands of the unknowing, innocent recipient of Prabhupada's mercy? Yes, so there's a few things about book distribution. And I encourage you all to keep the fire of Kartik burning. We will also try. Perhaps next time I drop by, we can compare notes on how we've done. And yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Any questions? Any questions or reflections or revelations anyone would like to share? Yes.
I've got a question relating to book distribution. Why should we distribute books? What's in it for me?
So there's nothing wrong with being selfish, as long as you're being selfish according to the real self. Actually, it's good to be, we should be as selfish as possible, as long as the real self, and not the false self. The real self is Krishna, the Supreme Self, and we're his parts and parcels, actually, should be serving him. And so that's real selfishness. We should want to engage in the unlimited pastimes in Vrindavan Dham. We should desire it very strongly, actually, to the point where it becomes a need. In fact, it becomes desperation, to the degree that if I don't get to go to Vrindavan and see Krishna right now, I'm just going to kill myself. I might as well just die because my life is meaningless and pointless and without Krishna. That's how the residents of Vrindavan feel. So that's okay. Mundane selfishness to satisfy the body and mind, yeah, of course, that's Asurya Namate Loka and then Atamasavarita is the pathway to hellish life. Selfishness. It's the way to a very dark world. That's the cause of all the problems in life. So what's in it for you? Absolutely nothing and everything. Materially nothing. In fact, you'll get humiliated, embarrassed, ashamed. People will laugh at you. People will think, what are you doing? Get a job, man. Even though you already have a job. It's a very good one. But people will look down on you because, think you're some kind of beggar. But that's also part of it. In one sense, we're all beggars in this world. But what will you get out of it spiritually? Everything. Everything, beyond your wildest imaginations. And there really is no hope for us other than the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. There's no hope. So the best way to achieve that mercy is the Sankirtan movement in this age. It's chanting the holy names and distributing them. And Srila Prabhupada's books is the best way to distribute the holy names, because although the Mridanga resounds in the street very beautifully, but the Brihat Mridanga resounds throughout the whole world and resounds eternally, at least for the next 10,000 years. Anybody else?
No, you've got
I've got another question that's linked to probably the main body of the class. Probably it wasn't in the main class. You've covered it then. But during Kartik, we know that Kartik is 1 month long, 28, 30 days, whatever. So it's easy to set ourselves like a vow that, okay, I'm going to do this for 28 days, and then, but after 28 days, it's very easy to sort of go back into old habits, or it's very easy to feel burnt out. What can we do to ensure that that doesn't happen? That we don't feel burnt out, we don't feel like, okay, thank God Kartik's over, now I can go back to lazy chanting or not reading or whatever.
Yeah. When an athlete wants to run a marathon, the training has to be something that can be maintained. It's not just you want to run one marathon and that's it for the rest of your life. Give up. No. So you want to be a marathon runner and run your whole life as long as your body allows, right? So then that's a long-term project, and therefore we take a regime of training that we can sustain, we can maintain, and not artificially try to do something that is too difficult. But then as the years go by, same as a marathon runner, it starts to become second nature and easier. We realize we can do more and more than we could have ever thought. So spiritual fitness is very important. It's more than just a short-term sprint, endurance sprint. It's a long, as a marathon, endurance for a marathon, so a lifetime. In Kartik, we can increase our sadhana, but at the same time, we shouldn't be to a degree which is artificial and can't be sustained. Otherwise, like you say, there will be burnout or even resentment. And so I'm going to vow to chant 128 rounds a day for a Kartik. But then like a few days in, it's like, what have I done? You know, I shouldn't have told anybody.
I shouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Yeah, because now they all know and they're going to check up on me. So why not just add, 5 rounds on? Instead of 16, do 21 or 24. Okay, it's something I can do. Instead of reading half an hour a day, I'm going to read 1 hour a day. Not I'm going to read 4 hours a day. It's very difficult. And try to do that this Kartik. And then if that works out, then be very happy with your success. Celebrate it. And next Kartik, I'm going to try maintain that and maybe just add one little more thing. Then we won't get burnout or resentment. With regards to being able to maintain the new standard throughout the whole rest of the year, that may or may not be practical according to individual's lifestyle and other responsibilities which perhaps you put on hold during Kartik, so you get to choose your guts. So that will be down to the individual's discrimination. Whenever I'm not a big vow maker, but when I've tried to make them, I usually may try to make them, this is something that's going to continue perpetually, not just during this time. Of course, with diet, that's probably very difficult, because some people take crazy diets during Kartik, which is a good thing, by the way, but they may not be able to be maintained. But at least one of my other vows was just to eat a bit less, as I have a tendency to overeat, especially sweets. And if you have that problem. So just eat a bit more frugally. So the way I've done that is just, I don't try not to eat breakfast and just have like one main meal a day. And that seems to be working. So I think I can maintain it after Kartik as well. Though I did have a few big feasts on festival days. Can't deny. What to do? Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one last question.
If I'm a shy person,
If you are shy.
yes, because I know everybody say you're not. If I'm a shy person and I want to go on book solution, what could encourage me to go out?
Yeah. You really need someone who's experienced and encouraging and no expectations. And that's why Vaisheshika Prabhu is so expert. Okay, let's just go together and just touch the pavement. Let's just go as a group, go to a Sankirtan spot, just stand there for a bit, and just let's celebrate the fact that we came here. Isn't it amazing? We came, we tried, and no expectations. And that's it. You've succeeded that day. It's a good start.
So there you go, the whole of the US
Just as a group, we are united, we're going to try. We're going to go there, just stand there, and maybe watch some of the more seasoned book distributors, see how they do it. And Vaish is so expert, so like when he's distributing a book, you've got 20 people crowded around just watching him. And it's really amazing how the person buying the book never seems to mind. Yeah, he introduces every single one of them and distributes the book, and everyone's like, okay, I can do that. And so then they try. It slowly, just very, very gently builds the confidence. And I wish I had been trained like that. I kind of had the baptism by fire straight into the deep end thing, and I got a bit burned out. I really appreciate the way it's being done now. I think it's much more holistic, long term. Yes, when you do it in a group, it's fun, and then you just come back and take prasadam together, tell stories like something that happened to you, or somebody you interacted with, or you try to give this person a flyer. Because if you're not confident to do books, you can just hand out flyers. And you can talk about those experiences. Maybe the first time you've ever given a flyer to someone. Yes. And just build it gradually like that. And there always has to be prasadam at the end. You know, and if possible a kirtan as well. And just make it like a nice little event. Real friendships deepen because as you perform sacrifice together, your respect for one another grows exponentially. And these become memorable activities. And this really, in terms of uniting a community, is very, very powerful and attracting more and more people because they feel the energy, the ecstatic enthusiasm which has been built here. Okay. Sankirtan Yagya ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution ki
Jai.
Kartik Vat ki
Jai.
Jai. Janitai Go Premanande.
Very well.